It has begun!
Lord have mercy. It is about to get crazy up in here. Oh my goodness, Adolfo, we are officially kicking things off this week.
Yes, we are.
It is so much fun.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Sorry.
And konnichiwa to all of our New Japan viewers.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a little bit flustered right now, but in a really good way, because before, I'm doing all the things I'm getting into, everything. I'm gonna send this to Andrew later, but kind of internationally related news a little bit. But as we were going on live, the countdown's going on, I received an email. I was like, oh, let me check my email real quick. Apparently Progress Wrestling, Progress Wrestling in the UK, the wrestling promotion that has all of our favorites like Simon Miller and Card Noir and some very, really historic British wrestling has gone there for the likes of Tony Storm and Gunther and all that stuff. They reached out to us and let us know that they enjoy our reviews and to keep up the good work. So I'm like,
wow.
So I'm a little bit flustered. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. All right.
BC WrestlePod. Okay.
So this is breaking news. I'm just like
awesome.
losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. But okay. So let's get back into it because that's for another thing. But again, internationally related because tonight we are here to review New Japan's Windy City Riot, which took place Friday, April 11th in Chicago, Illinois, the wrestling city capital of the United States, world, whatever you want to call it.
And Tanahashi's final appearance in the United States before he retires.
Oh my gosh, we'll talk about that match because as soon as that match was announced, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be great. But I am one of your hosts, Mikey, here at Strong Style Syndicate. And of course, joining me as always is my Gaijin brother himself, Mr. Adolfo, the nerdy Puerto Rican.
Hajimemashite, Lugo Adolfo des.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited. We're kicking things off. I'm excited for this review. I'm excited for the rest of this week. This is going to be so much fun. But if you are new here to BC WrestlePod and you like what you see, or even if you don't, that is totally okay with us. We love you regardless. And if you want to see more of what we have in store, basically look us up on any social media site at BC WrestlePod because, we're pretty much anywhere and everywhere. We do the long reviews like we are doing right now on YouTube and Twitch. We have out of context clips that will totally not come and bite us in the butt as we get famous or apply for jobs down the line. We also do report cards for all the pay-per-views and the weekly shows. Is crazy. And, whatever else we could think of because we're here on the internet to have fun and make absolute fools of yourself. Stay tuned for the next couple of weeks because prediction season is almost over and some of your hosts are going to have to do a week or two of reviews in a wrestling singlet.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. I was wondering when that was coming back.
So, I will say that AEW and TNA League have officially come to an end because even with the final pay-per-views happening, I ran away with it. So I have been declared the winner. I cannot say the same thing for WWE. There is a 3-way tie and WrestleMania is going to make or break somebody. Anyways, but without further ado, let us do all the things. So again, we are here to review New Japan's Windy City Riot. This is the second United States show because the first show was back in January in Battle in the Valley in San Jose, California.
Yep.
So now we're back in the States here in Chicago, Illinois for Windy City Riot. And then in a couple of weeks, they'll be in California for Resurgence, which we're going to talk about that because we got a couple of matches already made and some things teased, which is crazy.
Yep. Really quick, do you want to talk about the NJPW related news that dropped, I think maybe this morning?
Sure. So I got 2 pieces of news here, and they both have to do with the United Empire. Well, actually 3, because I also found out some stuff too.
Okay.
So the biggest one is that Jeff Cobb has been requested his release from New Japan.
Yep.
Which I was like, what?
Yep. I mean, looks like the Fed has shown interest in Jeff Cobb. So kind of sad about that. Yeah. Happy but sad.
Well, let's go. So I'm happy because I know Jeff has been wanting to get to WWE, and honestly, we kind of also need another big Samoan outside of Roman Reigns and the whole bloodline. Jeff Cobb is like the adjacent cousin, like Samoa Joe was. They are Samoan, and I'm excited to see him wreck house there. It makes sense though because Hikulea, who was also in a New Japan for a while, who is the actual brother of Tonga and Tonga Loa, the Gorillas of Destiny, has been training in NXT. Jeff Cobb, I think, would be great. There are so many
Yeah.
people I want him to have, but with that being said, though, with Jeff Cobb being granted his release, which sounds implicable, there wasn't any drama behind it, at least from what I can find, so that's good. However, that also leads into the second piece of news because Jeff is no longer in the company. United Empire had to vacate the IWGP Tag Team Championships.
Yup. Yes, they did.
Damn. That's crazy to me. They just wanted that soccer
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah. Short reign.
So poor Callum Newman, who won with Jeff Cobb in that tag team championship match, they had to vacate the titles, which leads into the second bit of news here that in an interview with all of that going down, Callum Newman has declared himself as the new leader of United Empire. As we all know before, the previous leader was Will Ospreay before he went on over and signed with AEW here in the States.
Yep.
But there also seems to be some unspokenness that while Callum Newman has officially declared himself as the leader of United Empire, lots of wrestling fans have kind of had the understanding that Mr. TJP himself is the leader.
Yeah.
So who knows if New Japan will take this into like an actual story or if a feud or something. But United Empire has lost Jeff Cobb. But it seems that Callum Newman and Great O'Khan will get a chance to try to get those championship backs at the next show at the end of April, which leads me into my final piece of news. I saw this as we were going on, so I didn't get a graphic for it, but our IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, El Desperado, Despy, is about to have a match at the Road to Bukogen, I think is the name of the next show. That's not like one of the big four like Soccer Genesis. He's into everything. Bukugan. He will be defending his IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against CMLL's and newest United Empire wrestler, member, Templario. I'm like, oh my god, I need to figure out how I'm going to watch
Get it up, Templario.
Yes. So I'm excited. Desperado versus Templario on paper sounds really good. It sounds fantastic.
Definitely.
So that is all the news of New Japan I have. We will be also dropping some other news that actually happened during the show. Realized I didn't get a graphic because I was like, oh, but we'll talk about it after our IWGP World Heavyweight Championship because Resurgence I might need to be going to now. Anyways, but without further ado, let's get into all of this. So Adolfo, I don't know if you were able to catch the pre-show match or what opened it before we got into the main card.
Yeah, Tino versus Jay. Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about this really quickly. This was a strong Survivor match. This was Zane Jay, who currently holds the strong Survivor record without being defeated, taking on CJ Tino. This was a good opener. This is definitely did what it did. It's showcasing all the people who are training in the New Japan dojos out here in the States. And you know what? This was a fun one. This was a good, like, step-by-step technical match in the sense. This is like people showing off their training. It's equivalent to like a sparring match more than a full-on like cage fight, like in MMA terms.
Yeah. I'm trying to look back in my notes if I have the name of the other. It's not really available. Damn it. That's fine. I enjoyed the Sakura Genesis pre-show match more than this one. Not saying that this one wasn't good. Like you said, it was solid wrestling, solid technical and mat wrestling, it seemed kind of short to me. Maybe it's just because I don't know, but it seemed short. But yeah, Zane J and CJ Tino, they did a good job, and they showcased their skills. So I definitely see them coming up into the dare I say the regular NJPW ranks pretty soon.
I agree. So again, Zane J does pick up the victory here, and then he cuts a quick promo afterwards stating that he is renouncing his strong survivor streak. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means, but all right.
Right? Yeah, I was like, okay.
Okay, cool. But again, this is more for a showcase, and this was a fun. I think this was a good way to start the show, or at least the pre-show. But now let's get into the main card because we kick things off with a singles match set for one fall and a time limit of 30 minutes. We have United Empire's TJP, who is now a freelance agent. He is no longer under contract with New Japan, but has agreed to be a free agent for New Japan when he is needed. So I'm like, hey, you know what? Never close the door, especially if they're going to pay you. Like, I'm cool with all that.
Yeah, right.
But TJP of the United Empire takes on Mr. Filthy Tom Lawler
From the Filthy Bros.
Filthy Bros from MLW with Matthew Riddle, Tom Lawler. And he literally wore his Battle Riot gear for this match. Now, Adolfo, we talked about this before, like when we were talking about Sakura Genesis last week. I know one of the things you had mentioned is that you hope you saw a different side to Tom Lawler at Windy City Riot than we normally get to see with him and Matt Riddle in MLW. Dare I say, I think this is the filthy Tom Lawler that we've been wanting to see, and this is the different side of him because despite the ring gear, he went for TJP's arms so much, and I thought he snapped him at one point.
Yeah, this match was chock full of submission into reversal into submissions. Lots of hard slaps and chops. Filthy Tom Lawler got that arm lock, and I thought TJP's arm was gonna snap when he just like bah. TJP had a really fun drop kick situation in there. To me, it felt like a really fast finish, I'm sorry, that TJP hit this really fast finish combo. I couldn't really make out what happened, but before I knew it, he got the 1-2-3 on Tom Lawler, picking up the win. But yeah, definitely a different side to Tom Lawler. Definitely a lot less like bruh than his MLW persona, and still he was still, and I don't, not to get too deep into the weeds with this, but I don't at the last MLW show we saw, I felt like he was limping heavily. I felt like he still was limping in this show as well. So I'm wondering if he is at 100% or if he's, what's going on there, But yeah, it was a good first match, I liked it,
I think when I saw this match on the card and given what else we were getting, I was like, yeah, this is probably going to be towards the beginning. Yeah. I've always been a big fan of TJP for his whole entire career, whether it was on the independents, whether in his small time in WWE in the cruiserweight division for 205 Live, to being part of United Empire and New Japan. I'm a big fan of his. His wrestling style is great. And again, I feel like Tom Lawler also should be given his flowers because he's one of the few, and I say this about Shayna Baszler all the time, I feel like he is an MMA fighter turned wrestler done correctly.
Yeah.
Like you could tell that he still has his mixed martial arts with the mat wrestling and the mat like submissions, maneuvers, and all of that good stuff. But also he has taken the time to learn about the actual like wrestling part, like going on the turnbuckles, doing all these kind of more aerial acrobatic moves that, most MMA fighters don't do because they're more grounded and kicks and stuff like that.
Yep.
But TJP does pick up the victory here. TJ, this is not the last time we're going to see you because it seemed that you were doing some scouting during a certain tag team match. So we're going to talk
Some
about you.
shenanigans going on.
Yes, we're going to get there when we talk about that one. But from here, we do get into our next match, which was our only women's match of the card.
Which was fire. Start the sentence by saying this match was fire. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, it was. And I'm not mad at the ending because especially of what it sets up for Resurgence. So this is a New Japan Strong Women's Championship #1 contender match. Winner of this match will be going on to Ontario, California, May 9th, Friday, May 9th, to face Mercedes Moné for the new NJPW Strong Women's Championship. So this saw, of course, finishing up in Stardom last month. Everybody wants Mina Shirakawa taking on one of Stardom's top talent in Azumi, who we got to see at Wrestle Dynasty back in January as well. So from the jump, I'm like, by the way, I don't care what nobody says. I don't care how long it takes. I'm dancing along to Mina's entrance every time.
Oh, totally.
She's just so entertaining. But then when the bell rang, it was like, damn.
You know how this was a fight because someone's extensions got pulled out and were laying on the mat.
That
not
was
even halfway
wild.
through this match. I think it was Mina Shirakawa's, but it could have been Azumi's. I don't know, but like their hair dye was kind of similar. So, but yeah, if y'all get a chance, find this match on the YouTubes or somewhere and watch it. This was a good one. Definitely, it was definitely a bit of a shock to the system for me, especially after the first match, because the first match was okay, but then this was just like the
this is the Stardom that I want to see.
Yeah, this is, I guess, that if you've ever seen that show Hot Ones on YouTube, the jump from like the mild to the spicy, where most people start tapping out, because this was spicy. These girls laying hits, doing tosses, jumps, rope work, getting tossed out to the outside of the ring, and there was like hardly any padding on that floor. So, flowers to those that decided to get tossed out there. But these two, and I think it was Mina like power bombed the Zumi on the concrete or something like that. Or maybe I have it switched around. I don't know. But they they kept scrapping when they were outside of the ring, and the ref is just counting, and I guess they were too busy mixing it up with each other because there was a double count out, and when that happened, I was like, what? 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 A double count out? What? Oh man, it surprised me. I thought it was before we got the announcement of what's going to happen. I thought it was a very good ending, and I felt it was interesting knowing that this was for the #1 contender spot for Mercedes Moné's NJPW Strong Women's Championship belt. So, and coming out with no quote unquote no number one contender was interesting. So I loved it. But the big winner of this match was the stuffy of that little girl that Mina took and carried into the back into the back with her, because that was cute. That was cute. A little girl sitting at the edge there, and she was putting her stuffy out, and like wrestlers were coming and like either fist bumping it or giving it kisses or whatnot. It was cute. It was really cute.
TJP did. I was like,
yep.
I love it so much. Well,
Teton did the thing. Well, we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That is so good. But the biggest thing to come out of this, so I agree with you. My thoughts on this match too. I love me some good Joshi style wrestling, and Azumi and Mina felt like they made this more personal than it was. They're like, everything just was hard hitting. They went ham. They went hard in the paint, as the kids say.
Yeah,
this was great. And then the double count out, I'm like, I'm not mad at it because I was entertained and I was engaged the whole entire time.
Right.
But again, so it was such a good match. But then it also sets up for something really fun because later, again, on New
Yes.
Japan does their press conference and the social media stuff afterwards, backstage in front of like the backdrop for New Japan with all of their interviews and stuff like that. Mina and Azumi get into kind of a shoving match at first, and they start brawling, and then they need to be broken up by Mr. Rocky Azucar Romero himself, and tells the ladies, like, look, this is not how this match was supposed to go, but it's a double countout, so we're going to make this work. Both of you have staked your claim to the championship and being number one contender. So at Resurgence, both of you will get a shot, and now it is a triple threat for Mercedes Monet's New Japan Strong title. So in Ontario, California, on Friday, May 9th, at the Toyota Arena, Mercedes Moné will be defending her New Japan Strong Women's Championship against both Mina Shirakawa and Azumi. I'm like, I win as a fan. Like, I win.
Yup. I think, is it this is the second time Azumi finds herself in this situation?
I believe so. No, so
Because
maybe not for New Japan Strong this year, but she did fight for the IWGP Women's Championship back at Wrestle Kingdom.
okay, all right, okay. Because who was it that Mercedes fought at Wrestle Dynasty for?
So at Wrestle Dynasty back in January, it was a winner take all match between Mercedes and Mina. So
Right. Yeah,
Mercedes had the New Japan Strong Women's Championship,
that's
but
what it was. Thank you.
Mina put up
Thank you.
her two championships, which I think was the Pacific Oceanic title and the Rev Pro UK title, because Mina was at that time back in January the Rev Pro Women's United Kingdom champion. So this would be great to see either Azumi or Mina get that New Japan Strong Women's Championship. But I would also like to see Azumi. Regardless, I win as a fan because those three are going to bring it. I cannot
That's
wait.
going to be great. Yeah, that's going to be a great match. Great match.
Seriously, it's going to be so good.
Mm-hmm.
But we go from this awesome match into our third match of the main card, which was also a fun one. This is for the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships, where we have, the Jet Setters, Kevin Knight, and who just recently has been signed to AEW, teaming up with Kushida, the Time Splitter.
The
Time Splitter, to take on the West Coast Wrecking Crew, as I know them, of Jorel Nelson and Royce Isaacs, who we will be seeing at Bloodsport this Thursday. Also, man has got cake. Just saying. Anyways,
they both kind of they both do. And,
they do.
And in that ring gear they got, they both do. But that's besides.
It's fantastic. Can I just say how refreshing
they were showing it off? They were literally like, what? Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's all good. So yes, now that we've talked about them cakes, I just want to say it's very refreshing to see a legit heel tag team that is like, oh, they're turds, but I kind of here for it. They were being so aggressive. They were targeting Kevin Knight and Kushida every chance they got. This was a fun match. Kevin and Kushida did the thing. I love them as a team. They tried their best, is the best way I could put it, but they couldn't get over for Jorel and Royce over those two. And so,
well, there was some shenanigans that happened that I feel kind of fed into the
go for it. So Adolfo, tell us what happened. What shenanigans went down?
Well, so let's talk about the match as a whole. Kevin Knight and Kushida, they are super aerial, super agile. Early on we had Kevin Knight hit this crazy Hurricane Rana while Isaacs was like holding on to Kushida type thing, and he jumped over Kushida and did the Hurricane Rana. It was crazy. And then we had Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs, they are just power, So it's that match of super agility against power. And for a little bit there, Kevin Knight and Kushida kind of looked like they were gonna pull it out, but a wild TJP was randomly sitting outside of the ring on a folding chair eating Dunkin' Donuts. I
Those
mean,
donuts look good. I'm
okay,
not even gonna lie.
oh, okay, like, after your match, you need a snack, being a diabetic, I get it. I gotcha, you know. But then, this situation happened where Kevin Knight was setting up for a finisher on, I think it was Isaacs, and uh, TJP shoved the bag into Knight's face, uh, casting distraction and allowing Nelson Isaacs to get the to get the pins on Kevin Knight and Kushida. So we do. Your world class wrecking crew does come out on top as the champs still. However, I feel there should be a little asterisk placed over this win. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I really hope they end up being at Resurgence because selfishly I want to see them because Ontario, California is literally in my backyard. It's like an hour and 5-minute drive from here, from where I live. So, but again, I thought this was a fun tag team match, and
Yep.
I've been really enjoying West Coast Wrecking Crew's reign as heel tag team champs in New Japan Strong. It's been a lot of fun. They're so good. I love it.
Yeah. And
But
and then afterwards, TJP hung out and yeah,
some scouting possibly.
yeah, a little scouting, had a little interaction with the world class wrecking crew as they were walking out. So,
Listen, if this means we get a
interesting,
United Empire US branch, I'm here for it.
right?
It would be so good. But this was a fun tag team match, and I like both teams. Hopefully, we get to see more of them. My match of the night, don't care. Like Jesus, MH Christmas.
Holy
oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about the. So
I,
this was.
I want to keep it 100 really quick. So I was watching Windy City Riot last night, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this tonight so that I can compile my notes for the show tomorrow. Yo, I got to the end of this match. I was so emotionally spent. I was like, I'm going to bed. Good night.
I was like, I'm gonna cram everything else tomorrow. But
Yep. Go ahead.
okay,
Sorry.
so this was for the Strong Openweight Championship, but this was a 30-minute Iron Man match. An Iron Man match in wrestling is out. You have to be the wrestler with the most pinfalls or submission within the time limit, and then depending on the promotion, it either ends in a draw if you have it, or like what they did here, you go into overtime. First to pinfall wins. Adolfo, this was nearly a 40-minute match, but it did not feel like 40 minutes.
Yo, it was for 40-minute slobber knocker. Are you kidding me? Holy shnikes.
Listen,
I felt a good 25 to 30 minutes of those hits, and I wasn't even involved.
I was like, what is happening? So this story has been going on since January in Battle in the Valley, because these two have been going at it. Gabe Kidd's like, we're going to settle this one way or another. So Windy City Riot, we're going to face each other. No time limits, Iron Man. There can truly only be one. There can only be one.
There can be only one.
Look, we know that Ishii can go. He is the Stone Pimple of New Japan. Man can take a hit. But I gotta say, Gabe Kidd, being this brash young one on the scene, this is, excuse me for the bad accent, but this man is an absolute demand. It is very, okay, so this is going to get me in trouble, but Gabe Kidd feels to me like he took all of his wrestling character notes from Peaky Blinders. This is exactly what I'm getting. Just the way he talks and how he carries his character, like he don't give a fuck.
Now this is the crazy thing, and this is why Gabe Kidd has like made a meteoric climb in my list of wrestlers, especially newer wrestlers that I've seen in 2025, and that's that we saw a completely I'm gonna say it. We saw a completely different Gabe Kidd in this match than we saw when he wrestled Kenny Omega at Wrestle Dynasty. You know, we saw a completely different Gabe Kidd than what we saw at the last pay per view when he wrestled in his in that trios match, right? Or tag team match. I can't remember. Anyway,
Yes, the 6-man tag team championships.
right. And in all of these situations, he looked comfortable. He looked like he knew what he was doing. He looked like this was his house. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Agent Lo-Fi? But he just, if you don't know, Gabe Kidd and Tomohiro Ishii, this match, you're not gonna get any fancy frills, all right? You're not gonna get any what the kids say flippy dippy. You're not gonna get any of that stuff. What you're gonna get is whatever the time limit is of just two dudes knocking the shit out of each other, and that's what we got. And it wasn't. I know this is gonna sound weird. It wasn't fake two dudes knocking each other around. And the reason I say that is we've seen these like hardcore matches and matches like this in like AEW, WWE, whatnot, where like the wrestlers will go and they'll get knocked out outside of the ring and they'll come back and their head, is split wide open because they cut themselves. These two, the reason why they were bleeding is because they quite literally punched each other to the point of bleeding. Tomohiro Ishii had a bloody nose. Gabe Kidd's mouth was bleeding because of just the hits that they were giving each other. And if you're not a fan of that type of match, then this match is definitely not going to change your mind, and it's definitely not for you. But if you are a fan of that match, of, dare I say, like an old school southeastern United States, slobber knocker match, this one was for you. Because these guys did it. They did it well, and it was dramatic the way they did it, the way they traded punches, the way they traded lariats, chops. How long did they chop each other for?
I think that sequence was probably like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, of like straight chopping.
Oh, so
each
good.
other. It was crazy. And the other nice thing is that throughout the first 30 minutes of this match, you didn't get a lot of near falls. You got a lot of near falls in the sudden death, but in the first 30 minutes, you got maybe 2 or 3 near falls. Now you did get Gabe Kidd pinned Tomohiro Ishii first. He pinned him at I think where they had 7 minutes left or something like that. I was getting worried that Ishii was gonna lose it, right? That's how good the drama was in this. And then Ishii ends up making Gabe Kidd submit with an armbar to get his win. So now it's tied up, and that literally happened in the last few seconds. So now we go into overtime. Overtime was just a flurry of whatever's left in the tank. We're leaving it all out there, which they did. In the end, we get. I mean, I can't even read my notes because I was just jotting. I was like this, write my notes and watching
it
TV.
Was sudden death went in for 10 minutes, man.
Yeah, yeah. But in the end, Tomohiro Ishii does end up pinning Gabe Kidd to become your new NJPW strong openweight champion. And I'm telling you, just talking about, I'm spent. I'm spent.
I have to revisit this, but I immediately put it into my reevaluate at the end of the year for potential match of the year candidates.
Yep.
Like, this was fantastic. I love this so freaking much.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
interested to see what happens with Gabe Kidd now that, to be quite honest, the only member of Bullet Club War Dogs who had a championship no longer having a championship. I guess that frees up Gabe for this House of Torture cage match that we are going to be getting at some point. But Gabe's going to have his work cut out for him. We're going to talk about how a certain tag team called his whole entire group out.
Yeah, that was interesting
a match
too.
At Resurgence.
At
So we're going to talk about that
Resurgence.
that announcement happened after our IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. So we're going to put a pin in that and we'll come back to it later.
We'll be back.
But again, I was like, what you mean we still got matches after this? What? Like, how dare you, New Japan, just give me craziness.
And thank the gods that the next match was ELP and Rocky Romero versus Tetsuya Naito and Titan.
It was still fantastic.
No, it was fantastic, but I felt it was very lighthearted, which is what you needed after that emotional thropping of watching Gabe Kidd and Tomohiro Ishii just beat the crap out of each other.
This was a nice, like, okay, you just had the intensity, now let's just have some fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to Naito and Titan dancing in the crowd too.
Yup.
Like, interacting with the crowd. They look so much fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one dude that was dressed like
Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah, Jushin Thunder Liger, and they were like, they put the chair out and they're like, come on, and the dude like came out and straight and was like, no. That was awesome.
Shout out to security though. They were on it.
Yeah.
Especially during the last match. They're like, move out of your seats, people.
Yep. So you know, the storyline for this match is that ELP and Rocky Romero were, I guess, brought together against their wills. And they did play with that further in the match, which I thought was fun. At the beginning when they were announced and they came out, you know, they were like talking and like, you know, trying to work things out, you know, and like handshaked and whatnot, or handshook and all that, you know. And then you have Naito and Titan, who are both members of the Los Ingobernables de Japón, coming out, and you know, working like a team and using that fracturedness between ELP and Rocky Romero to get that win. But yeah, you know, not to jump the shark on it, but your winners in this is Los Ingobernables de Japón, Tetsuya Naito and Titan. I was very happy seeing Naito wrestling in this match, even more than I was in the last pay-per-view, because as we had discussed like previously when we saw him, he seemed like, again, don't know if he was like nursing an injury or like came back faster than he should have, but he looked really good in this match. He hit, you know, the frog splashes from the top rope. He hit a few of the like lifting rope kicks that you see in like lucha libre. He actually looked very lucha to me in this match. Like, I think it would be so much fun if if him and Titan came down to Arena Mexico on a Friday night to wrestle like Templario and you know, someone else, because he looked, I'm not saying he was zipping around fast like Titan, you know, but he definitely looked really mobile. Definitely looked really, really strong. Again, shout out to the little Stuffy, that little girl Stuffy, who got Titan's thing, and Naito, when he was walking by, he like stopped and gave it the eye. It was so cool. But yeah, that's what I got.
And I agree. I mean, you pretty much explained everything I was going to say too. This was put there this match was put after what we just saw with Ishii and Gabe Kidd, just to kind of be fun. And this was fun.
Yep.
And I'm interested to see where ELP goes now that he is no longer the TV champion. But who knows? He might go after and get a rematch with Great Khan because of the way that match ended at Sakura Genesis.
Yeah,
And
totally.
not gonna lie, Rocky Romero, call me. I'm just kidding. No, it's fun watching him be like this really cool mediator for New Japan and CMLL in the States too, which is kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
So shout out to Rocky Romero. We love you.
Yeah. Yeah. And shout out to ELP and Rocky Romero making this match fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they did. Like all the jabber that they were doing throughout the match, like, like, whoa, wait, okay, like talking to each other and all that. It made the match even more fun. And ELP, he's climbed up a few notches in my list. Not that means anything, so but yeah, so
he has come a long way from the titty twister.
Right.
But he would go to his opponents and do that. It's so much fun. I would not be surprised if these two end up in the tag team league later in the year.
I mean, I would.
I love enjoy seeing tag teams.
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what this is, and so it'd be great if they were in there.
Oh, absolutely. So from this match, we get into our next one.
Greatest technical wrestler alive. I am dying on that hill.
Also, don't know if he's an ally or part of the community, but Zack Sabre Jr., we love you so much. Anyways, so, okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is, I think, where we're going to get in trouble. And I think, Adolfo, you might get mad at me for saying this. I really like this match. I think my only biggest critique, and it's not against Zach or David Finlay in this case, I feel that the ref was either holding back or was not on the same rhythm as these two, because it felt like towards the tail end, a couple of those counts were off beat. Like we were missing some parts. Like he was either a tad bit early or a tad bit late.
You can ask Alice.
Uh-oh.
The ref counted 3. 1, 2, 3 very clearly, and then came up and goes, nope, that was 2. Even Zack Sabre looked at him and was like, what? The crowd was all like, what? And I yelled at the screen. Ask Alice about that, because she was sitting next to me and she was like,
okay, so I'm glad I'm not the only one that noticed. I was just like,
yeah. I don't know what. Like I thought maybe they were playing like the ref was being paid off by the Bullet Club War Dogs or something like that, But yeah, the ref seemed like he was just kind of all over the place, that and totally had that miscount, which frustrated me for this match, because David Finlay and Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. putting on his technical showcase, but then being stopped by David Finlay, who has a little technicality to him, but is a brawler. Like the dude is just scary, right? And so yeah, their match, their interactions were great. I was frustrated that the ref was felt like he was, it was so bad. It felt like the ref kind of like pulled me out of that.
That was my only gripe with this, but agreed with you, Adolfo, in the sense that I think Zach and David are very professional in what they do, and they were able to have a really great match. I thought the intensity was there. Yeah. I thought, again, David, I think now that he's kind of gotten over the hurdle of, wrestling has always been there, but the character work has always been hit or miss. Now that he's more comfortable in this role of being like a bad boy of New Japan, I think those doubts in his mind have kind of gone away, which now they don't come through as much in his wrestling, because I thought this was great. But yeah, the ref pulled me out towards the end. I'm like, damn, man. I was like, because I was really getting into the groove of this match.
That match could have ended 5 minutes earlier, and we would have still had the same result. from when he did that miscount, the alleged miscount,
The
which frustrated me even more. Like if the ref effed up that count, right, and then Finlay pinned or defeated Zack Sabre Jr., I I feel like it could have been, like I said, it could have been played off like it was the War Dogs were like were paying him off or something like that. Um, but to have the ref miscount that 3 with Zack Sabre Jr. pinning David Finlay, and then literally 5 minutes later, Zack Sabre Jr. pins David Finlay. It's like, okay.
Like, all right, we getting somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm just that fat bearded dude on the internet, but that was my only gripe about this match.
It is okay, Adolfo. I love you, you fat bearded bastard.
Why, thank you.
I cannot wait. Was about to say something, realize we're on air. Anyways. So, but again, outside of this gripe, the in-ring was fantastic. I'm just excited we get 3 straight days. Well, 2 straight days, Thursday and Friday, and then whenever we find time to do the Effie's Big Game Brunch watch along too. Well,
Yep.
at least to watch it for the Monday review, but
Yep.
we get to
We'll
see
get-
Gisette later this week, which I'm excited about.
We'll
But
talk
again,
about that later.
this was the only point of the whole entire night.
Yeah.
This is a really strong night. But we move on from this match.
Man, this was it was such a strong match.
It was frustrating for sure.
Oh, man.
But thankfully, Shota, I take back what I said at Wrestle Kingdom. I think we finally have come back to where you need to be. But in the semi-main event, this was the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. This was Shota Umino taking on the champion at Hiroki Goto. Y'all, this match was fantastic. This is exactly what I wanted from 2 Japanese strong style wrestlers. Shota Umino,
the build up, it's the classic story where you have the old guard versus the new guard. It was beautiful. Go ahead, Mikey. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
So again, this was a match made last week at Sakura Genesis after Hiroki Goto defeated David Finlay, the winner of this year's New Japan Cup, which got him that championship match against Goto at Sakura Genesis. Shota's like, I want next. And Goto, again, being the old guard, Shota being the new guard. And again, the tropes in wrestling can either make or break your enjoyment of a match, but if done right, even the oldest of tropes in 2025 can still hit the way they need to. And my God, this is exactly what I wanted from this match when we got it made last week at Sakura Genesis. But Goto versus Shota is exactly what it is. Shota being the young, brash, newer guy for New Japan, and Goto literally being here for a good chunk of his wrestling career and finally being able to be an IWGP World Heavyweight Champion and making sure that
don't forget the G in IWGP stands for Goto.
But this is exactly what I wanted from this match. Goto showing off his veteran, wiles, if you will. Shota being more unorthodox when it comes to certain things. This is a very good, lengthy 25-30 minute match. But again, it did not feel like that. It was a good story, had lots of peaks and valleys. But ultimately, Goto's experience would allow him to pick up the victory against Umino. And Hiroki Goto is still your IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
Yep. I mean, even the way they look, and this is please do not misread this as a knock against Hiroki Goto's body type, because he's a very fit and athletic individual, right? So, but he has dad. Yeah, he has basically. He has that dad bod old school wrestler look, whereas Shota Umino has that new school, especially with his bald head, right? And he's like all chiseled out. So it's like, man, it was such the textbook of that old school versus new school. I am very interesting to see what's next for Shota Umino. Last pay-per-view, he got the big win against Tanahashi. Big win against Tanahashi. He comes out this one, comes that close to getting that IWGP championship. Now with all of the conflict that's going on with NJPW, and I know, like, in the really real world, there's a lot of talk of, all of the big NJPW names have gone on to AEW or elsewhere. Who does NJPW have? And I think it's time to really start pushing Shota Umino. I know that there was all the talk, about nepotism and this, that, and the other, but I think I think he can do it. I think he can carry a belt. Like, he still needs. I want him to fight up to a belt, but I think he can carry a championship, and I think he can carry a storyline. And I think he can be one of those pillars, one of those spotlights that NJPW is looking for right now.
Oh, absolutely.
I
And we
mean,
talked about
he's got the fucking look. I mean, I'm sorry. You want a beautiful human specimen? For a poster, boom, Shota Umino.
I love it so much. And we talked about it last week during, the Soccer Genesis review too. I would not be surprised if we saw Shota back at the Tokyo Dome come Wrestle
Yeah,
Kingdom
yeah, totally,
20. So his road
totally.
is not over. And
Yeah,
who knows when we get to the G1 climax, because winner gets to basically go for the championship at Wrestle Kingdom. That's how Zach got his, chance to win it. But this was fantastic. This was a good match. Hiroki Goto gets on the mic, admits that he doesn't speak English very well, but
yep,
thanks the fans before leaving. And so, I was like, okay, we only got one match left. So the Hiroshi Tanahashi is main eventing. Makes a lot of sense. This is his last show.
yep. Oh, but wait,
But this is where the kind of crazy part comes. So
because the lights go out.
yes, lights go out. I'm like, what is happening? And then we pop on the Titantron. And who should be on this in a pre-taped vignette promo but AEW's The Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. They're in their little private jet. And I was just like, okay, so they've had ties to New Japan, so I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah.
In this pre-tape, we basically have them calling out the entirety of Bullet Club War
The
Dogs.
entire clan of Bullet Club War Dogs. That's what,
Nick,
like 6 people?
Something like that. And so Nick and Matt are just like, hey, so we have some friends who want to come visit.
Some old school friends.
Some old school friends that want to come and visit. And
that are too sweet.
That are too sweet. And so they're gonna have a match at Resurgence. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm probably needing to go see what's this all about.
Yeah.
But it makes sense though, because the Inland Empire is the Young Bucks' hometown. Like Ontario, California is within their hometown.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of nervous on who the Young Bucks are calling up for this, because the references they were making for the too sweet thing, that's old school, like Wolfpack, WCW stuff. So I'm wondering, I'm wondering if they're gonna call up some dare I say old timers like Buff Bagwell and guys like that to come in.
We'll see, because
It'll be interesting.
There have been a lot of members who have come and gone from Bullet Club in the various iterations that we've had them. But I'm interested to see who the Bucks will bring. So this will be interesting for sure. But after that, let's talk about this, Adolfo. Main event.
Yo, this was a this is a great end to the night. This was a
This
great end to
episode.
the night.
Oh, what made it even crazier too, and I didn't realize this until the start of the show. By the way, before we talk about this match, shout out to Stuart Walker and Veda Scott, our commentating team, the whole entire time.
Oh yeah, they
Especially
did a
Veda. I love
fantastic
you,
job.
Veda. You are so good.
Oh,
Speedball
man.
Mike Bailey's waifu. Love her.
Yeah.
But in the main event of Windy City Riot, not only was this Hiroshi Tanahashi's last match in the United States, but this was also for the Never Openweight Championship, too. Takeshita put his championship on the line. Can I just say, I love the 5-minute pre-tape, like, recap of how much Takeshita and Tanahashi have actually paths have crossed. Like,
thank you for putting that together. And AEW, please take fucking note. I'm sorry if that knocks us out. But yeah, please take note, because that's the way that you cut a 5-minute informational promo that gets everyone up to speed. I didn't know that Takeshita and Tanahashi had such deep roots.
oh my gosh, watching like 19-year-old Takeshita and young DDT with like short hair, looking like he just graduated high school.
Mikey, I had to rewind it, or I had to take it back 20 seconds and be like, that's Takeshita? What? And be like, oh my god, that is Takeshita. He was a completely, and the whole fact that Tanahashi told Takeshita and the DDT wrestling that they're not in the same league as NJPW, and they shouldn't be in the same room with each other. Like, yo, this
has been like a years and years built for
yeah.
Takeshita. And the fact that Tanahashi has picked Takeshita as his final opponent in the US too.
Yeah, in my notes I have this this is anime level shit going on in this match. Like, and real life anime, and I'm here, and I was here for it, and oh man, it was good. It was so good.
This was just such a great match. Now, I know that at least have knocked Tanahashi in the past a little bit. You know, he is getting older. He can't move as crazy as he can.
Yes.
This was not the case.
No.
His dance partner in Takeshita was fantastic, but my goodness, I love this match. This was so dang good. Yeah. Takeshita and Tanahashi trading blows. But unfortunately, and causing lots of heartbreak across the world, the Ace Tanahashi could not get the job done, and Konosuke Takeshita pins cleanly, I might add, Hiroshi Tanahashi to retain his Never Openweight Championship. But my God, the sign of respect these two shared afterwards. I'm like, Takeshita is my favorite person on the planet. Defend this man at all costs.
He started crying.
It was so beautiful. I loved it.
Crying. Yo, even after it was so good that they were able to, keep it, keep it real, with all their heat and all that. And then at the end, they were able to drop the kayfabe, and Takeshita showed his emotions. He shook Tanahashi's hand. He was crying, and then he even bowed to Tanahashi as he got out, and then immediately left the ring so that Tanahashi could have his moment in the squared circle for the last time.
In the US, yeah.
Yeah, but this wasn't. This was after this anime-esque back and forth.
This was literally the finals of the tournament arc. Yeah, finals of the tournament arc.
Yeah, because you had Takeshita was hitting blue thunders and frog splashes, pinning Tanahashi for the 1-2, and then Tanahashi kicks out, right? And then all of a sudden, that's when you get Tanahashi doing the his Saiyan power up, right? And he starts hitting Takeshita with crossbodies and his own frog splashes, and attacking Takeshita's knee. Takeshita hit Tanahashi with 5 power drive knee strikes and Tanahashi took it and still kicked out. But that was towards the end, and that like kind of was the death knell, because after that, Takeshita hit this double knee strike into his Blue Thunder bomb. I forgot what it's called. It's not the Blue Thunder bomb. It's like the Dragon Fury or something like that. But into his Blue Thunder bomb, and Takeshita gets the hard earned 1-2-3 on Tanahashi. So flowers to Takeshita for being that downs partner, but also flowers to Tanahashi, who's willing to let the younger generation get over. Because how many times have we seen older popular wrestlers doing their retirement tour thing, but like insisting that they win all their matches, that they always look good, this is the second loss that Tanahashi's had, and I don't know how many pay-per-views, right? Not that he looked bad or anything like that. He did not. It was just literally a fight. It was a fight, and he gave it his all, and he left everything in there, and it was a thing of beauty. And I feel, and I know that a lot of people want to see Tanahashi win, and it did break a lot of hearts, but I feel that this was the best ending to see him
Oh,
go out on.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think Takeshita and Shota and some of these other guys that Tanahashi has faced so far are going to carry the Japanese wrestling legacy for the future. And I love that. I can't wait. So afterwards, Tanahashi gets on the mic. He thanks the fans. And then we end with him going into the crowd, taking pictures and all of that. And that is how we leave Windy City Riot.
Yep.
This was a fun show. I really enjoyed
It was a fun
this.
show. Yeah, it was a fun show. I would say it's better. This is better than, I'd say, maybe like half of the WWE and AEW pay-per-views from last year. This was good. It was entertaining. Yeah, there were a few missteps in there. Of the weakest matches, dare I say, I think that the Tom Lawler TJP match might have been the weakest. But at the same time, I feel that Tom Lawler needed a reason to be there so that he could see Tanahashi one last time. Because I don't know if you noticed, but like at the end, when all the NJPW people surrounded the ring for Tanahashi, Tom Lawler was there, Kevin Knight was there, paying their respects. So, I think that was kind of like his ins to be there. But very entertaining. If you get a chance on either YouTube's or wherever to catch, one or two of these matches, please, if you get a chance, catch the Tanahashi Takeshita match. It was fantastic. If you like the strong style, Ishii, Gabe Kidd, can't go wrong.
No, this is a fun show, and I'm super excited that we're covering New Japan more, which brings us to the end of the Strong Style Syndicate. But fear not, because we will be back. We're going to be back in like 3 or 4 weeks, 3
Yep.
weeks actually. But we
Yep.
will be back on Monday, May 12th, to be reviewing NJPW's Resurgence. As of right now, we have that triple threat for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. We are getting the Bucks and their friends taking on Bullet Club War Dogs. And who else, who knows what we're going to get at Resurgence. So I am super excited. Adolfo, as always, thank you for joining me, being here, my friend. I'm glad that me and you are the New Japan team here at PC Wrestle Pod.
Right. It's good. It's fun. I'm happy that I am able to watch and have started watching NJPW. It's been a lot of fun. I won't get too far into it, but it's been a lot of fun.
It's been a lot of fun for sure, and of course, I'm just very happy that we get to add the international brands now this year onto
Yeah.
BC WrestlePod. It's no longer just in the United States. We have, of course, CMLL in Mexico. We have New Japan. We are covering Progress.
Yeah.
And Andrew and I are working out some details, but we might be adding some French wrestling in the near future too.
That's fantastic. Yeah,
French,
people,
Scottish
like,
wrestling.
there is more to life than WWE and AEW. Like, if you are one of those people that turn your nose up because these wrestling companies are quote unquote smaller wrestling companies, y'all got bricks in your head because
Don't do yourself the disservice of
yeah,
shutting it out.
no,
Wrestling in 2025 is so much
so good.
choice.
Oh, there's so much, so good. So good.
Absolutely. But that is going to be it for us here at Strong Style Syndicate. And this is just day one of the madness that is the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. Tomorrow night, the AEW crew will be here to review AEW at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Wednesday is your double dose. Of course, we have CMLL at 8 p.m. Pacific. But before that, this is, whether it's just me or my NXT crew, we will be doing an NXT review, as it is the go-home show before Stand and Deliver. The pay-per-view is this Saturday, which is crazy to say. I'm so excited. This is going to be great. Then,
Listen, oh, go ahead. Finish the thing, and then I'm going to say my thing.
Then everything kicks off. Thursday is the GCW Bloodsport 13 watch-along. Friday is the Joey Janela Spring Break 9 watch-along. Saturday is the NXT Stand and Deliver and night 1 of WrestleMania watch-along. Sunday is night 2 watch-alongs. The following Monday is review for NXT Stand and Deliver and GCW's Effie's Big Game Brunch 10, which myself, Adolfo, and Andrew will get to cover, which I'm excited because Adolfo and Andrew have yet to be on a review together, so that's going to be fun. And then Tuesday, night 1 of Mania review, night 2 of Mania on Wednesday. Thursday is going to
CMLL maybe.
Yeah, CMLL maybe. Thursday is a little bit of a break, and then Friday, the TNA crew will be here to review not only TNA Unbreakable, but also give our predictions for Rebellion, which is happening days later. And then it culminates on the 27th with myself going to Los Angeles for that TNA pay-per-view. So
it's
going to be crazy. I'm excited. Yep. But Adolfo, what did you have to say?
Yeah, now, mi gente, listen, all right? I'm doing the CMLL review 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The next day, I am boarding a plane to go to California to go visit Mikey so that we can watch all this stuff on starting Thursday together. So I challenge you, actually, I ask and implore you, if you could, please watch one of these watch-alongs or reviews to check in on me to make sure that I'm still functioning, because it just hit me that I'm literally doing a review at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then hopping on a plane to go watch more wrestling the next day. So I kind of feel like a professional journalistimo, if you will, but that's beside the point.
But yes, I promise the internet and to Adolfo's significant other that I will take care of him. He will be fine. Maybe. Anyways, maybe. We'll see what happens. No, I'm excited. Mama Laguilla is also really excited to meet y'all too. Well, I mean, she's already met Evan, but she's really excited to meet you too.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's going to be it for us here at Strong Style Syndicate. Stay tuned for this week and next week's madness, but thank you to everybody that tuned in. But we got to get up on out of here. So from myself, Adolfo, and the rest of the BC WrestlePod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay Bi-Conic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you tomorrow for AEW. But until then, sayonara, adios. Watch all the wrestling and take care of yourself and your loved ones tonight. Ta-ta for now.